Bud's contract with us probably extends past the time that he'll retire.
If you know, you know. And Bud definitely knew about the extended contract past his retirement. So Bud, say it ain't so. Say it ain't so. As y'all heard in the clip, Bob Arum stated, Bud's contract with us probably extend past his retirement. I don't know how it's gonna extend past his retirement. What's that supposed to mean? Is he gonna play the role of Andre Ward, being a commentator and an expert / analyst in the sport of boxing, which is great for the sport. It grows the sport when you have fighters share their knowledge. However, to what cost? Why is Crawford signing a contract that extend probably past his retirement? And ladies and gentlemen, we came to a conclusion that that's the $1 million question. Now, if Bob Arum offered Terence Crawford a $100 million contract, then to each your own. Do what's best for your career. However, if that's not the case, and Terence Crawford is kind of stuck with Bob Arum, and every time he fights, his contract get extended, then he probably under the Ali Act. However, he might want to buy himself out of that. And we saw with Mikey Garcia how long it took him to do so. Floyd Mayweather was successful doing it, but I don't think Bob Arum will let Terence Crawford go that easily. Now, that being said, if Terence Crawford wasn't offered a big contract and a big bag like Tyson Fury did when he signed with ESPN, and knowing that Terence Crawford has the better talent, then Terence Crawford definitely made an intelligent decision. And I'm going to explain why in a few. But first of all, shout out to the Boxing Voice. They had a great interview with Bob Arum, which I'm going to leave in the description box below. So make sure y'all check that out. Now, Terence Crawford, we talked about him during Split Decision. We had a whole segment, which I posted that video separately. Go ahead and check that out. Now, during episode 11 on Split Decision, I talked about Terence Crawford and the fact that ESPN has zero promotion for Terence Crawford so far. And we're 2 weeks away from the fight itself. Obviously, they cannot promote that fight this week because Andy Ruiz versus Anthony Joshua rematch will be hosted this Saturday night. So due to that, they're going to have to wait till after that fight. So they only have 5 days to promote the fight. However, ESPN and Max Kellerman have the nerves to diss Al Heyman and PBC, which they have the right to, because obviously they claiming that the PBC is not recognizing Terence Crawford as a champion, even though he's pound for pound #1 on a lot of people list and definitely on new media pound for pound #1 list. However, I see what PBC is doing. They promoting their fighters, that's for sure. Meanwhile, is ESPN doing the same? ESPN haven't promoted this fight not even once. I haven't even seen the Andre interview that he did with Terence Crawford that I was looking forward to. Meanwhile, ESPN and Max Kellerman is going to criticize the PBC and Al Heyman for not recognizing Terence Crawford as a champion, which we all know that's a low blow. However, one thing for sure, PBC is doing their job promoting their fighters. They promoting Errol Spence, they promoting Deontay Wilder, and every other fighter of theirs. However, is ESPN doing the same? Is the $1 million question. And it definitely doesn't take $1 million brain to figure that out. ESPN have done zero promotion for this fight. Matter of fact, they have done a terrible job promoting this fight. And unlike the Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell fight, where Lomachenko fought a gold medalist and ESPN promoted the hell out of that fight. Keep in mind, Luke Campbell have already previously lost to Linares, the same guy that Lomachenko already defeated. And Lomachenko was supposed to defend or fight for that vacant belt against Devin Haney. However, he chose Luke Campbell instead. But the main point is that fight got a hell of a promotion, a hell of a push, a hell of a buzz. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford could fight a gold medalist that's undefeated, and it receives zero promotion, and ESPN shows Terence Crawford no love compared to Lomachenko. Even compared to a Tyson Fury, where he fights 2 tomato cans, and instead of getting zero promotion, because of the low caliber of opponents, he receives all this promotion from documentaries to great exposure from all these interviews and talk shows. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford could fight a legit opponent and get zero promotion, which causes his own trainer to almost be like his manager and talk to ESPN to do a better job promoting Terence Crawford, because if they know better, they better do better and get Terence Crawford more cheddar. But actions speak louder than words. That's Bob Arum's job. Bomac's job is to train Terence Crawford. Last time I checked, Terence Crawford should have did what Floyd Mayweather did, what Mikey Garcia did, what Ruiz did, what Oscar De La Hoya did, and follow the blueprint that actually worked and head to the talent pool, and that's where PBC is located, not the other way around. So I'm not too sure what Terence Crawford is thinking and why he made that decision, or maybe it's just the fact that he's just stuck in a contract. And Bob Arum is great at doing that. However, there's great lawyers nowadays. And since you got a mega fight with Errol Spence, then you should know your worth. Bud should have definitely bet on himself like Deontay Wilder did, like Errol Spence did, and head to the PBC. And since he have the talent to actually win a lot of great fights, he's pound for pound #1 for a reason. He been doing this for too long, every season. He's not here for a short season. So that being said, Terence Crawford could have actually bet on himself. He had a great story that he could have been promoting himself like Floyd Mayweather did and keep 100% of the revenue, and you be the boss. However, Terence Crawford has a different plan, so to each your own. But I will say this, Max Kellerman should be bashing ESPN for not promoting their own fighter, their best talent according to Bob Arum. However, Lomachenko and Tyson Fury, he claims they're more marketable because they fighters on the hope list. Tyson Fury is like a Superman. He just can't fly. So I kid you not, that's exactly what Bob Arum stated. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford with zero promotion leading up to his upcoming fight, and even prior to that, there wasn't much of it. Even when he fought Benavidez, that fight in particular in 2018, Terence Crawford holds the record of the highest ratings on ESPN and on any network when it comes to any boxing event. However, ESPN rather focus on Lomachenko and Tyson Fury, where they pushing them as much as they can, and they still not becoming superstars. Tyson Fury only sells 3,000 tickets his last fight. Lomachenko has to go overseas in order to sell because he can't sell in the States. Meanwhile, Terence Crawford doesn't have that much promotion behind him, and he sells tickets in Omaha, he sells tickets in New York City, he sells tickets, and he gets a lot of ratings, regardless of promotion or not. So it's a no-brainer for me if Terence Crawford actually went to the talent pool, and that's where PBC is. So we'll see if Max Kellerman is going to come out and criticize ESPN for not doing their job and promoting Terence Crawford like they promoting Tyson Fury and Lomachenko. We'll see if Max Kellerman bashes ESPN for not recognizing their #1 pound-for-pound fighter while they criticizing another network for not doing the ESPN job. And we could all agree that PBC is not showing Terence Crawford any love. However, why is ESPN not giving Terence Crawford any recognition? And that's their fighter. That's making them money. That's their pound-for-pound #1 fighter that haven't lost for decades, that's undefeated, dominant. He a boxer, but he knocked out his last 5 opponents. He could box, but he could bang. He a dog in there. He got a great story. He got shot in the head. He survived and became pound-for-pound #1. However, ESPN doesn't show Terence Crawford any recognition. And keep in mind, Bob Arum is holding Terence Crawford from greatness because Bob Arum is not willing to make the Sean Porter fight. Bob Arum is not willing to work with Al Heyman to make big fights other than the Errol Spence fight. He's only willing to make the Errol Spence fight because that's a big fight. And he wants a 50-50 split, which we all know that's not possible. Because while Errol Spence stayed rising as far as popularity, Terence Crawford, on the other hand, he's at a steady pace. He's not growing as far as popularity because he's not getting the great names in the welterweight division. He's not having any promotion or push behind him to actually have a buzz when it comes to fight night. So Terence Crawford basically is promoting his own self on Instagram and on the interviews he does with the new media and with the media on the YouTube community. So that being said, hopefully Terence Crawford made the right decision. Hopefully whatever Bob Arum stated is not true, because I don't think Terence Crawford will make such a big mistake knowing how calculated he is in the ring. So we'll see if Bob Arum Morris holds any weight. We'll see what Terence Crawford has to say when it comes to this subject in particular in the future. So I will keep y'all upgraded. Obviously, Terence Crawford came out and stated that he don't think he's going to fight Errol Spence because he's with PBC and they're not going to allow him to fight Errol Spence. However, I thought since this might be his last fight on the ESPN contract with Top Rank, that he was going to head to the PBC to force those fights, to force the Danny Garcia fights, to force the Sean Porter fights. Sound like he has other plans. So that being said, we'll see what Terence Crawford actually does. We'll see if Bob Arum is actually telling the truth. I don't see why Bob Arum would lie about such a thing. And like I told y'all before, we talked about this during Split Decision episode 11, where I talked about even Terence Crawford, old manager, getting like 8% of every fight of his. However, if he leaves to the PBC, that's no longer relevant with his old manager. I don't even know if that's actually going to come into play if he resigns with Top Rank. And from the sound of it, from what Bob Arum said, he already did. So to each your own. Good luck to Terence Crawford. Hopefully he get these great fights that he's looking forward to build his legacy. However, I feel like that was an unintelligent decision in my opinion. That being said, subscribe below if you're trying to get smarter by the minute. If you're trying to get dumber by the second, don't listen to these casual fans. Shout out to Dante. Shout out to DBN. Shout out to Dante for giving me the opportunity to post on his platform. He sees something in his eye, Key, his brother / Migo, and definitely he ain't mistaken. So shout out to DBN. Shout out to Dante for starting the new media movement. And we are the wave and we finna take over. We the past, present, and the future of boxing. So subscribe below and click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post to go live, especially on Split Decision. Shout out to Lunatoon. He too part of the new media movement. He got great artworks. Follow him on the description box below for the funniest boxing memes. And to be continued on the next episode of Aki TV. Peace, and we out. Aki.